I'm very excited to make these spooky silhouette trees with you. Let's go! Okay, so we're not getting off to the greatest start because I forgot to film the part where I traced around the projected image. But I set it up quickly in my lounge room for you just to give you an idea of what I did. The only differences that I made here is I had my plywood lying down, so my projected image was also lying down. The other thing I did was I wanted the tree trunks to be a lot fatter than the projected image showed, and I also made some changes to some of the branches as well. The projector I used is one I picked up off Amazon, with whom I have no affiliation. It came highly recommended to me by another Halloween enthusiast, and as of yet, I have no complaints with this projector. Once I'd traced my tree, I went around and I put X's in all the negative space. That is, all the space that's going to be cut out. Don't skip this step, because once you start cutting and you've got sawdust flying around, you don't want to accidentally cut off a tree branch. I have to say, when I first started cutting out my silhouette trees, it seemed like a bit of a daunting task. And then I cut straight through my husband's sawhorse, so that added to the drama. But when I did eventually get into the swing of it, it wasn't that hard. It just took some time. I'd say it took me about 2 hours to cut out the tree and then another 20 minutes for the face. I used 2 different blades. One was a thicker wood blade that I used to just cut out all the great big chunky pieces, and then I switched to a finer blade to do all the detailing. For the tree face, I took my inspiration from jack-o'-lanterns and just pretty much made it up as I went along and drew it freehand. Then I used my drill to make some plunge cuts into the eyes and the mouth, and then jigsawed those out as well. There are going to be a lot of rough edges when you finish cutting out your tree, but a quick sand will fix that. I used a 40 grit sandpaper, which is a very coarse sandpaper, but it did the trick. I just quickly went over it, and no, I was not a perfectionist in any way. My trees are going to be outside in the weather, so that's why I chose exterior grade ply, and that's why I went with 12mm, just so that I would get extra longevity out of my trees. I'm also going in with an exterior paint. I'm going to do 2 coats of this paint, and then I'm going to go in with an exterior black paint as well. Take extra care, making sure you're doing all the nooks and crannies of the wood and the tops and bottom of the cutouts. Because my trees are going to be sitting on the grass, I did 4 coats of exterior paint on the bottom of the tree and up about 30 centimeters. While I was painting the black layer of paint, I began to wonder, how could I make this harder for myself? And I thought this tree would look amazing with some texture. So I began to experiment with some different textures. I had some texture paste lying around, so that was my first option. I started dabbing it on one of my offcuts, and I thought it looked actually pretty good, though I could tell it was going to take a long time to do 3 trees. The next option I tried was Gorilla Glue. Just kind of drizzled it on one of my offcuts, thinking it could resemble sap or something like that, but again, I wouldn't know until I painted it up. My third option was joint compound or putty. This kind of was hard to get on, but again, I liked the texture of it, so I wanted to see it painted up. My fourth option was a complete wild card, and it's the paperbark from the Australian native paperbark tree. I absolutely love this option, though I recognize that it's biodegradable and it's genuinely nuts. I gave all 4 options a quick black spray paint, and here they are all laid out in a row. I'd love to know in the comments below which one you would have chosen, but naturally I went for the one that is genuinely nuts, and I chose the bark from the paperbark tree. So off I went to our local park where I started collecting some paperbark. Don't worry, no live trees were harmed in the making of my fake trees. The paperbark tree naturally sheds its bark, so you can basically pick it up off the ground or you can just grab some off the tree. I decided to use a wood glue to glue my bark to the tree for no other reason than I didn't know what other glue to use. I did do a little test section and it seemed to stick just fine, so I kept going with that. There comes a moment in every build that I do where I start to wonder, what am I doing? Am I just ruining the very thing I've created? And this was about that moment. But I just trusted the process and kept going. Going to go around the tree and take off all the excess bark. Paperbark really does tear like paper, which is good because it's easy to shape, but it's bad because it probably will biodegrade pretty fast. I was feeling so happy at this stage with how the tree was starting to look, but now it's time to go in with the black spray paint. I gave it a quick coat of the black spray paint. I'm not trying to get an even black coverage. I wanted some of those variations of colors to show through. I gave the trees a quick spray with this protective coating. It's supposed to provide a barrier against wear and tear and moisture. I don't know if this is actually going to do anything, but I did think it was worth giving it a try. I'm so glad I went with the paperbark option. I absolutely love the texture, and I think the color variations have come out so well. I know it's probably not going to last very long, but I think this option was so worth it. No regrets here. My trees are going to be going into the grass, so I'm going to be attaching them to a reinforcing bar that I've hammered into the grass. I've drilled 2 holes into the top and I've drilled 2 holes into the bottom, though I found the 2 holes in the top were more than enough. Make sure that when you are measuring where you're going to put those holes, that your reinforcing bar cannot be seen through the eyes or the mouth. And then simply attach your tree to the reinforcing bar with a cable tie. You'll be able to see the cable tie a tiny bit from the front, but a quick spritz of black spray paint will fix that. We're so close to the finish line now. Now we just need to find something to cover the eyes and the mouth to help diffuse the light and really make it pop. For the eyes, I cut up some milk bottles and I taped that to the back. And for the mouth, I got some kitchen drawer liner from Bunnings, and even though it does have this kind of funny circle pattern on it, it's good enough for this purpose. Here are my 3 trees all together, and I think they look spectacular. I love the way these trees have turned out. I wanted to show you the trees like this so you could see the difference between the diffusing material and not having the diffusing material. You can decide which one you like better. Now we're going to work on the lighting. I did work with several lighting options for my trees. I tried putting fairy lights all the way around the outside, but as my trees aren't going to be leaning up against a wall to reflect that light, the light ends up just disappearing into the blackness behind. So what I actually ended up doing was a very simple option of uplighting the trees from the back and creating that kind of glow, and I think this worked out really well. Now I've just stuck my trees up here so I could take this video, so I haven't completely hidden the reinforcing bar on the 2 on the left yet, but the one on the right I have, so keep an eye on that one. Without further ado, I think it's time to light these trees up. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. wanted to do it and I did it. Oh, shit! Oh my god, I'm coming. Oh my god, there is so much traffic. There is just so much traffic. We're here. We are at Bunnings. I am gonna run in and buy a sawhorse. I got it. Look, I found it. Let's go. Not too busy. There's no one at the checkouts. Okay, let's get out of here. I might pull this off. I might actually pull this off. Oh, red light. Oh, damn it. I'm gonna change lanes. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna change lanes. It's probably gonna go against me, but I'm doing it. It's done. I've chosen. Just keep it together. Just keep your shit together, girl. If the gate is closed, they're home. It's open. I did it. Yes. I did it. All right, let's go hide the evidence. Let's get the broken one. I just cut through Alex's sawhorse. Can you hide the evidence for me?
Well, you cut it very cleanly.
Oh, I did a good cut, didn't I? We're home. Let's get the other sawhorse out of the car. And let's do this. And then it never happened.